Morning.
Declaration of Independence.
What does it mean to you?
Well, it means exactly what it says. It's a declaration. It's a declaration of unity and love and respect, and it means a lot. And it's something very special to our
Hey,
country.
look at his face. Look at his face. Look at his face. Hold on. Look at his face. Hey, his face is like, you don't know what that means. Anytime someone says it means a lot, they don't know how to describe their feelings and their emotions about anything. It means a lot. What? Look at his face. It means a lot. Terry's like, a lot? With what you're doing right now, you think it means a lot? Come on, let's get real. Hey man, welcome back to the channel. It's Thursday. I know I'm off today. My loads got canceled. I ain't got to work. So, you know what I'm saying? We going to get to the politics because that's what I'm doing. It's early in the morning, so I ain't even had my cup of coffee yet. So I might stutter a little bit. But we going to leave it in there because I hate editing. I'm not going to lie to you. So we're going to go over this Terry Morgan interview because everyone's been talking about it. I've seen a bunch of clips. So I want to see it for myself. All right, I want to see the full interview. I'm not going to play the full interview. Of course, I'm just going to give you all the highlights because it would be too long. All right, so let's get right into it.
What's the one thing, just one thing, that you think is the most significant thing you've done so far in these 100 days?
Well, I think maybe the border is the most significant because our country was really going bad. They were allowing people to come in from prisons, as you know, and you've heard me say it, but you've heard a lot of people say it. Prisons, mental institutions, gang members, murderers. We had many murders, 11,888, they think. Some murdered more than one person. So you had murderers coming in, you had everybody coming in, and not just South America, from all over the world. They were emptying their prisons into our country. And now it's totally closed down, and you've seen just...
Hey, listen, this is going to be a tough watch. This is the only time I'm going to stop it like this, but this is going to be a tough watch to listen to him give half-truths and spew like hate speech and then still have to just keep watching it with a normal reaction because right off the bat, what he said is partially true. Yes, immigration is down. But at the same time, when he's talking about the Mexico border, the same thing happened during his first term. I'm not going to get into that. I've done videos about that. He put tariffs on Mexico. They sent 10,000 troops to the border. Boom. Immigration went down. A year later, immigration went right back up. Just like they keep saying Biden let 10 million people in when he was in office. President Trump did the same thing. His first year went down by like 30, 40%. And then every year after that, he was letting 8 to 10 million in. They went right back to the high immigration numbers. So let's not even get into that. But I just want to let y'all know this is going to be a tough watch.
Yesterday, they announced 99.9%. Nobody thought that could happen. And it happened quickly, very quickly. And I think that's very significant. But we're doing other things that are very significant. The results will take a little bit longer because it's...
All right, last time stopping it like this. I will say this time is different because he has troops. U.S. troops are there too as well. And U.S. troops are on Mexico soil right now. I don't know if y'all know that. U.S. troops are on Mexico soil. So it could change. I'm not going to sit here and act like some things are not different from his first term because there is. And that's one of them. So we have yet to see. We will yet to see. Did I say that right? It's too early. You know what I'm trying to say. We will see what happens.
With the economy, the number one issue for so many people, for just about everybody, it's one of the main reasons that you're back in this office. And now we have this trade war with China that Moody's and other analysts say is going to cost American families thousands of more dollars per year. And there is a lot of concern out there. People are worried, even some people who voted for you saying, I didn't sign up for this. So how do you answer those concerns?
Well, they did sign up for it, actually, and this is what I campaigned on. I said that we've been abused by other countries at levels that nobody's ever seen before. We were losing $3 to $5 billion a day on trade. We were losing $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion a year, not sustainable. They were taking advantage of us like they've never. I could have left it that way, and at some point there would have been an implosion like nobody's ever seen. But I said, no, we have to fix it. I've wanted to do this for many years. You know, I had the best economy.
Now, he's about to get into some BS, but he's not lying. If you voted for him, you voted for this. I mean, he did run off of tariffs. I mean, He didn't tell you the correct definition, and you guys didn't go look it up yourself, but he did run off of that.
During my first term, we had a tremendous economy, tremendous success.
Oh, my
and
God.
we did tremendous numbers of tariffs on, we took in a lot of money from tariffs, China in particular, hundreds of billions of dollars in tariffs. We had no inflation, as you know. We had an incredible economy. We're given credit for a great economy. But I said we have.
This is going to be tough. I swear to y'all. I'm not trying to stop the video. But every time he spewed this, like, just blatant lies that people can go look up for themselves, it's crazy to me. First of all, he did not have the greatest economy. All right? Let's just get facts to facts. He's talking about trade and things going away when he was in office, when he signed the deal with Mexico and Canada. Manufacturing went to even more than it did from the first trade deal under Donald Trump. He signed the USMCA, which put even more manufacturing and took tariffs off of Mexico when it comes to imports and export in and out of Mexico and the U.S. Donald Trump did that. All right. This is going to be a tough watch.
You'd said you'd bring prices down on day one, and that it would happen fast, and that it would happen fast.
I have.
Most economists will tell you that tariffs will raise prices. So don't your tariffs cut against that promise you made to bring prices down?
No, because I had massive tariffs on China, if you remember, in my first term, and we had essentially no inflation, like around 1%. Gasoline hit $1.98 in a few states during the last couple of days.
Are you serious right now?
It was $3.50 and $4 and $4.50. But gasoline is way down. When I took over, you remember the big thing with eggs. They hit me the first week. Eggs, like it was my fault. I said, I didn't cause this problem. This problem was caused by Biden. What's the problem with eggs?
The problem with everything you just said is you said that you were going to bring it down on day one. And now all of a sudden it's, Biden. Man, how long are y'all going to keep accepting this Biden excuse? This is, oh my God, this is a tough watch. First of all, there was no prices on the U.S., on this earth, that gas is $1.50 a gallon. Nowhere. Not one state, not one city. If you come in my comment saying that you got $1.50 gas, you're lying. You're that much of a cult member that you're lying. All right. Wholesale prices for eggs went down because of inventory stock went up because we imported eggs because of the bird flu. More inventory, less demand, prices go down. Less inventory, more demand, prices go up. Basic economy. He did nothing. So he's going to blame Biden for the economy going bad, but then going to take the credit for the economy getting better. Y'all don't see how that plays, how that works out, how that makes no sense? Oh, it's 100 days. I haven't had nothing to do with it. Oh, but the things that are going good is because of what I've done in 100 days. Oh, my God.
A lot of that is
And
bird
by the way,
flu,
and there
right?
were plenty of eggs for Easter, which we just went through. There were
Who
plenty
gives
of
a
eggs for
damn?
Easter. They were saying you won't have enough eggs for Easter. My secretary did a fantastic job on eggs. Groceries are down.
They're not.
Hard times are ahead?
I don't think so. I
Hang
think
tough.
great times are ahead. Look, since I came in, gasoline.
Anytime someone asks you if hard times are ahead and you say, I don't think so, we are already in hard times. The reason why those questions are being asked is because it's already taking effect. People are already worried. People are already having a hard time. What are we talking about here? What are you talking? I'm seriously going to crash out, yo. It's too early. It's too early. All right, I need another cup of coffee.
When you have that kind of a drop, you're not going to have inflation.
Not now, but it's the tariffs, right? We still have 145% tariffs on China.
why is it
Your
that-
Treasury Secretary said we basically have an embargo on China.
Look, you're
and
trying
that-
to say something's going to happen,
no,
Terry.
No, okay, well,
nothing's going to happen.
You know business. I
Terry,
want to ask you.
Terry, I do know business.
Yes,
and
so 145% tariffs on China, and that is
That's good.
basically
That's
an
good.
embargo.
They deserve it.
It'll raise prices on
They
everything
deserve
from
it.
electronics to clothing to building houses.
You don't know that. You don't know
Yes,
whether
they
or not
do.
China's
That's
gonna eat it.
mathematics.
China probably will eat those tariffs, but at 145, they basically can't do much business with the United States. And they were making from us $1 trillion.
He still doesn't understand tariffs. He still doesn't understand that the person bringing things into the United States pays the tariffs, not China. The only way that affects China is that the people that's ordering from over there in China has to order less. But they still pay the tariff. And you know what they're going to do to combat the tariff? They're going to put it on the consumer. Breathe. Breathe.
So your message to those small businesses who are saying, we can't live a month, 2 months with these tariffs. Apple got a big deal. Is there something for them?
No, not only Apple. We've got $7 to $8 trillion being invested in our country in 2 months. Biden didn't have that over.
First of all, when Apple said they were going to bring some factories back to the U.S., that was with Biden. That was with Biden because of the CHIPS Act. Intel, Biden, CHIPS Act. Let's not be real. Now, guess what? These same companies that he's talking about, go look it up. They've canceled their plan to move these factories to the U.S., and they're moving them to India. And that's why now Donald Trump is trying to get a trade deal with India.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
We don't
You're not
deport
deporting
citizens.
at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number is 20 million people to flow into our country? You had 21 million people.
You just said earlier it
that
was 2
came
million.
into our country through a stupid open border, and they were prisoners, and they were people that you don't want in many cases in our country, right? They came from all over the world. They came from the Congo. They came from South. They came from all over the world. We're talking about some of the roughest countries in the world they had here, including terrorists, by the way. Now,
But the
did
law-
we give them a hearing when they came in?
Well, the law requires that every single person who is going to be deported gets a hearing first. Do you acknowledge that?
I'll have to ask the lawyers about that. All I can say is this.
The president of the United States cannot tell you what the law dictates when it comes to immigration. The president of the United States does not know, or he won't admit to it. He knows. Come on, let's be real. He knows he won't admit to it because then he will have to admit that he's doing things wrong. He's doing things unconstitutionally, and he's breaking the law. That's why he won't admit, and he's acting like he doesn't know. Like he's playing dumb, but he knows.
More than 200 Venezuelans to that prison in El Salvador. You say they're violent, they're gang members, they're terrorists. Many of them don't have a criminal
They are,
record
by the way.
at all.
Well,
but I want to.
I'm not so sure about that if you take a look.
I want to
When
read you something.
Excuse me. When you look at those people, they were violent people. They were violent people.
But many of them don't have a criminal record
Go
at this
ahead.
point.
I don't
So
know.
I
That's
want
what
to-
you said.
All right, I'm really trying not to stop this video because I don't want the video to be too long. But how can you say these things, but at the same time not give them due process? How do you know that there are thousands and thousands of murderers and whatever you call them criminals if you're not giving them due process? See, due process will allow you to actually go look up information about this person. Actually reach out to Mexico, because if they came here illegally, you don't have any information on them. Do y'all not understand the logic behind that? If they came here illegally, you don't have information on them. And if you don't have information on them, you don't know what happened over there in Mexico. You don't know what's happening here because they're illegal. They're illegal. The only way you would know is if you arrested them before, and now I understand that. You've arrested them before. They've been in a U.S. jail. But then again, that's due process. That's due process. But if you're just taking people off the street, running them, you don't see them in the system, and then just shipping them wherever you think they're from, that is not due process, and you can't call them a criminal because you don't know.
Joe Rogan said this. Joe Rogan, one of the leading podcasters, Trump supporter, about the deportation of Venezuelans. He said, quote, rounding up gang members and shipping them to El Salvador with no due process, he said it was dangerous, and added, quote, we got to be careful that we don't become monsters while we're fighting monsters. Is Joe Rogan right?
Oh, I agree with that 100%. Yeah, we want to be careful, and we are careful.
One man in one court order. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's the Salvadoran man who crossed into this country illegally, but who is under a protective order that he not be sent back to El Salvador. Your government sent him back to El Salvador and acknowledged in court that was a mistake. And now the Supreme Court has upheld an order that you must return him to facilitate his return to the United States. What are you doing to comply?
Well, the lawyer that said it was a mistake was here a long time, was not appointed by us.
So
Should not
what?
have said that. Should not have said that. And just so
Said it
you
in court.
understand,
Said
the
it in
person
court.
that you're talking about, you know, you're making this person sound, this is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife, and the wife was petrified to even talk about him, okay? This is not an innocent, wonderful gentleman from Maryland.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. It's about the rule of law. The order from the Supreme Court stands,
you came
sir.
into our country illegally.
You could get him back. There's a phone on this desk.
I could.
You could pick it up, and with all the power of the presidency, you could call up the president of El Salvador and say, send him back right now.
And if he were the gentleman that you say he is, I would do that.
But the court has ordered you to facilitate that.
I'm not the one making this decision. We have lawyers that don't want to do this.
But the buck stops in this office.
No. I follow the law. You want me to follow the law? If I were the president...
If you follow the law, you would do what the judge says. What are you talking about? I follow the law, but I'm not going to do what the judge says. And then just because you didn't appoint the judge doesn't mean that that judge is wrong. It's an appointed judge.
That just wanted to do anything, I'd probably keep him right where he is.
Supreme Court says what the law is.
Listen, I was elected to take care of a problem it was a unforced error.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshop. So let me
That was Photoshop. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry, but you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshop? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his...
If Donald Trump thinks that picture where it says MS-13 is actually a tattoo, he's just as lost as Joe Biden was. He is just as lost as Joe Biden. Let's be real. All right? This is the picture he's talking about. You see where it says MS-13? That is just people trying to dictate what the tattoos that's actually tattooed on his hand means. But Donald Trump thinks the MS-1 and 3 is actually tattooed on his hand. He's that senile, that delusional. Are we serious here?
His hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't there, but they're there now, right?
No.
They're not.
Terry.
Ukraine, sir.
He's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look at that.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at that,
Why don't
sir.
you just say, yes, he does, and, go on to something else?
It's contested. Ukraine.
Man, Donald Trump is so mad. Listen, you don't have to agree with you just because you're the president. See, he thinks that Terry Morgan was going to get on here. First of all, amazing job. Giving real Barbara Walters or whatever her name was. Giving real energy. Just interview him, but call him out for the lies right away. And you don't have to fold just because he's the president. See, he's around a bunch of yes men and women because Pam Bondi is, I don't know what she is. But anyway, I don't care what she is, but she's definitely a yes ma'am, yes woman, whatever she calls herself, because she is not following the law as well. But anyway, you don't have to sit there and fold just because he's the president of the United States. Respect is earned, not given. In my world, you respect me, I respect you. You're not going to shoot me lies and tell me, just admit it to your lie just because you're the president. That's disrespectful. I'm going to tell you what it is. And if you want to lie to the people, that's on you. But you're not going to force me to lie to the people just because you're the president of the United States. I can't watch this no more. I can't. Terry Morgan, excellent job. Excellent job. Called him out, held your own. If you're not coming to interview someone like this, don't interview him. If you're not going to correct that person when they're saying false information or giving false information or letting them know what's right and what's wrong, don't interview them. But I cannot sit here and not crash out. And it's not even 9 o'clock in the morning yet. All right. If you're still here with me, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We have 4,200 subscribers. What? Thank y'all, man. I appreciate y'all support. Hit that like and subscribe button, especially if this is your second time here. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next video.